storm. Yeah,
maybe
I'm going to say 30% chance.
Yeah.
Look out for blowing dust.
Yep.
And just go ahead and put that on your board for
then 115 degrees.
October. Yeah.
Be the easiest 7 months of your life.
The funny thing was, though, I was on a hangout last night for my entrepreneur thing that I do, and one of them was saying, I threw my back out today shoveling snow. He's up in the Northeast, and I'm standing in front of my window because I got my whiteboard behind me, and the sun is like, it's that perfect time of day where the sun's coming down, and I'm on there typing in, I got to turn my AC on, and everybody's just hating on me. I was like, man, it's hot, and then I actually got on there. I started talking to him. I'm like, man, it's hot as hell here. It is, man. It's just bad. Anyway, so we should have Joel Willman from Joel Willman Racing calling in here in a little bit. Joel's been a big follower of Vets on Media and a huge supporter for veterans since forever. He's got a big following or a huge background for his family in the military. He himself did not serve, but his parents, I believe, he's got a lot of other family members that serve. So he's been a big follower for Vets on Media. And we definitely appreciate having him come on. And hopefully we'll have him on quite a bit during the racing season because, hey, that's what he knows. So give me a heads up when he comes in. The race last week, I'm assuming I'm the only person in the room that actually watched it.
Hey, I watched half of it.
You watched half of it? Half?
No, I watched the first half, and then I said I was watching it, and then I said, well, I got to go get something to eat. So I ran over to Chipotle, which had a line out the door, so it took me like a half an hour. And
do you eat anything other than Chipotle?
No, it's only healthy fast food, unless I'm going to cook myself.
There's plenty of healthy fast food, man. Yeah. You can go to McDonald's and get something healthy. It's whether or not you want to eat it or not.
You can't. Anyway,
yeah, you can't.
I came back and Gordon.
According to Sean T, you can't.
And Gordon was like out of first. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And then they didn't say anything for 20 minutes and I got mad and turned it off.
Oh, he basically made a move that didn't work and he got shuffled back.
But like they didn't show it or they didn't say what happened. I'm like,
they did when it happened.
Well, I know, but like the rest of the race,
you missed it.
Like usually they're like, oh, this happened, or they'll like re-show a wreck or something. No, none of that. I'm like, the hell with this.
Why would they talk about somebody that's currently in 30th?
Because they always jump back. Like, look at
this guy. Did talk about him when he wrecked.
Well, yeah, that was like the
very end. Killed him.
But I had stopped watching, but then they flipped over to the hockey games. It's hockey day in America.
Big shout out though to Kyle Busch. He's one of my favorite drivers because he's actually. I had the opportunity when I cover PIR to actually sit down and talk to him for a minute, and usually it's like right after he won, so he's really happy. So him and Samantha, who's they're expecting a child on the way, which is awesome. I believe due in May. So it looks like Daddy's going to be around for a little while, around the house a little bit more. Hopefully he'll come back. Not sure if he's going to be able to race again this year. They're saying he should be able to. It's just going to be a couple months before he'll be healed up enough to be able to get back in. So he had a compound fracture of his right leg, and he just had surgery on the fracture on his left foot. So hopefully that went well, and we'll see him back out there. But he's also been a big supporter for military. So just because it doesn't say like National Guard on his car like it does juniors for the most part. Yeah, he's a big supporter. I believe it was Rhonda Costa, who's one of our backup photographers that we use for NASCAR, had him hold up a sign to say thank you to the troops. So it was pretty cool. So anywho, Joey Logano, he hung around the front quite a bit. And the part that I didn't like about the end of the race is because of the wreck down the backstretch, they didn't allow them to race to the finish. It was basically a yellow checkered. So Junior ended up third. Junior went from like 14th to third in 4 laps. And he was moving. I think, well, there's no way to actually tell, but I'm going to go on the limb and say Junior probably would have had him because Junior had one of the fastest cars on the track the entire day. He just got shuffled back because he went to do a move and couldn't move all the way up without wrecking. And so he got shuffled through the middle and got pushed back to like 15th. But I'm looking at the race for tomorrow in Atlanta, and look who got the pole. Joey Logano. Very interesting.
Very rare guy wins back-to-back, though.
True, but I mean, it's positioning him to have a great start to the season. He's already in the chase because he has a win. Okay. But I mean, it's Logano could do something this year, and it's kind of rare because it's a Ford. You know, Chevy won last year. And speaking of which, the guy that won last year, Kevin Harvick, is actually on the outside of the first row. And then Jamie McMurray, Hamlin, Edwards, Larson, Newman, Hornish Jr., and Dale Earnhardt Jr. round out the top 10. Now, this week, people that you need to have a good showing are Jimmy Johnson, who actually is starting in 37th. I want to say Gordon. Let's see who else is starting in the back that you need to have a good showing or finish in the back last week. Let's see here. Where's Gordon at? Keselowski finished in the back. He's starting 12th this week. He had a solid run going. He was part of that wreck with Gordon. So he was out. Gordon. I don't see Gordon. I know he's on here somewhere. Edwards in 5th. Needs to have a strong start. Austin Dillon. Kind of pushing for Austin Dillon this year. Let me see. Danica Patrick's 18th, which is right in the middle.
She'll drop back.
How many cars, just hate.
How many cars are going?
Hate Danica Patrick. That's why.
I just need her to do something.
I don't understand how you can cheer for the Browns and Tampa Bay, but hate on Danica Patrick. That's what I don't understand.
I don't like when the Browns are featured.
Wait. Let me ask you this. Okay, because we didn't have to do this in the NFL segment. Now that Josh McCown's off Tampa Bay, are you wishing well for Tampa Bay this year?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Although
so now it's all about the Browns.
Although I do like Mariota.
Right on. Jeff Gordon, by the way, 35th. Starting back at 35th.
Yeah, it's all right. He's a good racer. He'll probably move up. How many cars are in it?
Actually, scratch that. Qualifying's not over. I don't think qualifying is over yet.
Shouldn't that have been Thursday and Friday?
Well, it's saying Gordon, Kenseth, Johnson, Smith, Stewart, Burton, Witt, Bowman, and Castle don't even have times.
Are they starting in the end?
Potentially. It could have been. I'm going to have to look into that.
Did they change cars?
They may have.
They're starting in the rear?
That would be the end, which I've already confirmed.
In the rear?
They're going to get the in the rear award for so I don't know yet. I'm going to have to check into that because there's some top names out there: Tony Stewart, Regan Smith, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Gordon. And then Landon Castle, if you want to consider him one of the top ones, which I really don't. So it's going to be very interesting. We're still waiting on Joel Willman to give us a shout here. Should be calling in shortly. Let's look at this. Let's look at this race. Shut up. All right. So I want you to pick 3 people from the top 10 that are most likely to win, and then 2 from the back of the pack.
Can I pick who's going to be in the bottom?
No. Danica Patrick's not going to be in last.
No. Well, how many cars are racing?
That would be 43.
So she'll be like 26th.
I'm going to say better than 26.
Okay, maybe 25.
Joel, plus or minus 20?
I'm going to go
Danica.
minus.
Lower than 20.
Yeah.
Thank you. Somebody, please.
He's a UFC guy. All right. There's only one person in this room that actually understands
Yeah, when
NASCAR.
you ask me this,
that's me.
It's a coin flip, man. I mean,
we'll ask Joel Joel Willman when he calls in and where he thinks she'll finish.
He can't say anything bad about her.
Sure he can. Sure he can. You can say anything you want about other drivers.
All right.
So that's what we're looking at.
No, this is okay.
What are you doing?
I was just pulling up
You're killing me,
the thing.
Smalls.
I was trying to look at it, and I was like, I thought it was Daytona results.
All right, well, we're gonna put the NASCAR talk on hold here real quick because
I thought we were going to try and pick a winner.
Well, I want to get Joel Willman on the phone to be able to do that with us. If I had to pick right now, I'm taking Junior. I never bet against Junior. It's like my Patriots, my Red Sox, my Bruins, my Celtics. I never bet against them. So if I need to pick a winner, I'm picking Junior. I think Junior's got what it takes to actually win the championship this year. So
I'd go Hamlin or Edwards. They both had good cars last week.
you're taking Denny Time and Carl Edwards.
Horse Teeth Edwards.
Probably two of the best fit drivers in NASCAR.
I don't like taking a Toyota, though.
However, in a bathing suit, I'm taking Danica.
Yeah.
Just saying. I think Danica might even do a top 10 this year. Top 10 this week.
Are you taking her in that bathing suit in the GoDaddy?
I'd take her in the top 10 on this list. Everybody in their bathing suits, I'm taking Danica. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. I'd put her at number 1.
Yeah.
I would totally put her at number 1. That one picture that we used to have on our top 10 list when she's coming out of her driver's suit. Yeah, I'd put that at number 1. Totally. So are we actually going to talk some NASCAR or what?
I'm done. I picked.
All right. So those are
my
two. Those are your two top drivers. Now give me an upset victory.
Oh, I just closed it. That's who I think's winning.
All right, Joel, who do you have for your two stud drivers? And then give me an upset victory. Somebody that's usually not in the winner's circle.
Well, I mean, you're right with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Okay.
You know, I think he's one of the studs there.
Mm-hmm.
Upset. I don't know.
Danica Patrick.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe Danica Patrick, but
look, she does pretty good.
To win a race in her career.
She does pretty good. Now let me go out here and say this: she raced the entire Daytona.
Now, let me make this point. It's very clear that she actually finished a race without wrecking.
Well, no. Okay. let me take that one from you real quick, because she actually started that race in her backup car, which she also wrecked before the race.
You're not helping yourself.
But I'm just saying, she finished the Daytona 500 in the middle of the pack with a bad car. She races very well.
Got a phone call
on the super speedways. Go ahead and bring in Joel Willman. On the phone, we should have Joel Willman. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. We're in a debate right now over how hot Danica Patrick is. Well, no, that's not the debate. She is the hottest driver on tour right now. I'm just going to go out there. I'm not saying it's Denny time. I'm not saying Dale with his nicely trimmed beard. I'm going to pick Danica in a bathing suit. I don't know about you. I'm just throwing that one out there. So, Joel, how you been, man?
I've been good. Doing good. Just trying to do what we all try to do every off season, and then find the good old marketing partners to go racing.
Right. Now, when does your season actually start?
Our season actually would start. Pertaining marketing partners come through. It would be end of April.
Okay.
First of May, and then we run all the way into October. The second week of October, and then I guess there's a couple specials later in November. The first part of November, they're like the fall brawl or something like that. So we'll see how that all works out.
So, do you have a primary sponsor right now?
We do not. We've been trying to incorporate everything that we do with the veterans. As you know, we have always been trying to give back to our veterans and everything else. And so we've been trying to incorporate, marketing partners to come on board. And when they do, a portion of their marketing partnership goes right to the veterans. That way there's no, cut or die or, hey, we're going to do this. Hey, what, right away, 10% of your money goes right to the veterans cause. So.
Okay. Now, that brings up a question. How much does a primary sponsorship usually cost? I mean, what do you guys ask for a primary sponsorship?
To be honest with that, when it gets into dollars and cents, you really got to kind of see what kind of marketing programs they have. I always base my marketing and my racing schedule around my partners and what they want to do. If they want to be on TV, obviously it's going to cost more. If they want to just do locally or regionally, then we can look at doing that. But for the most part, a really solid marketing partner locally for us would be right around the $10,000 to $15,000 range, and that's going to get you, about 30 races throughout the season.
Okay.
And that's not including, doing car shows and special appearances at, different types of venues that we do, and then also the charity golfing events that we always hold.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what if Vets on Media wanted to put, just like a bumper sticker on there, man? I mean, what are we looking at here?
Well, if you get some on board, obviously we throw something up, depending on how many weeks you want to run, we would, always do something good for you. We would probably throw you on a small sticker, $1,000 throughout the year. That's about the minimum that we go, anywhere between 500 and 1,000, just because it does cost us a lot of money to go racing and, fuel and tires and, all the good stuff that happens. And so, just the cost of trying to be out there.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, because you only have so much space on a car to be able to put a logo. So absolutely. I just wanted to put my face right on the hood, just this crazy face, just driving around. I think I did last year. I came up with the idea last year when I was watching, I was covering the Phoenix race where they were actually doing a promo for the new Dumb and Dumber movie that came out. And one of the cars had Harry's big face on the hood, and the other one had the other guy. What's his name? Dumb and Dumber. Lloyd. Thank you. And so I was like, you know what? I need to be able to do that. So that'll cost me about $15,000, right? If I just put my face right on the hood.
Yeah, for one of those TV races. We've got connections as well with the Nationwide and actually, the Xfinity series as well as the Truck Series. We're trying to get it into late October. I love nothing more than to I got a team available that wants me to come drive their stuff in Phoenix during the chase. Later this year. So we're really going to try pushing to do a Martinsville race in the truck and then turn around and do an Xfinity race at Phoenix. So
that would be awesome, man.
I mean, those are all, it sounds all good in faith and, pipe dreams and everything else, but it all comes down to marketing dollars, and if they believe in you, that you can do the job. So
right.
Really
Right. So now, how long, for our listeners, how long have you been racing for, and when did it kind of start?
Man, you're going to show my age right away. I started at 9. Actually, I grew up, living between Wisconsin and Indianapolis, which obviously are two major impacts of racing, throughout the year. When I was a kid, I was riding 4-wheelers with Ted Musgrave's kids, Justin and Teddy Jr. So we were riding, so we used to play with them all the time. And then when I moved to Indianapolis, as I got older, I started racing, honestly, probably about 10 in the go-kart and 3/4 midget. And then I quit for a little bit, and I really moved up into a midget, a full-size midget, a year behind Jeff Gordon. So
oh, wow.
When I was 15, he was 16, and he kind of set the bar that a lot of the tracks were like, hey, you got to be 16 with a driver's license after he come through, because, he was just whooping the car out of everybody, and some guys were like, well, he's just too young to be in a car, and, but yet he's living. So, it was kind of one of them things, but I just grew up from there, and then drove a lot of different vehicles and different types of cars, and there was probably about 3 years that I took off that I was working for an IndyCar team, and then I moved into a Nationwide and ASA team after the IndyCar stuff and IMSA deal. I worked for Ferrari for a year, so that was kind of a huge opportunity for me to get to see what the big time boys were really all about and how they were handling things. And that's when I got to see how much marketing dollars really meant to the world of racing. So, and from that point on, that's all I concentrate on was, hey, I might be all show and no go, but at least I'm getting my marketing partners out there, and getting them plenty of exposure. At one point in time, we were finishing top 10 every year in points, and some people were just like, hey, you're like the Michael Walsh for short track racing. You got great sponsors, but, you don't win it much. Well, when you're running a bunch of races all over, you're not going to be, solid as if you were just racing at one track.
Right. Now, how many cars do you usually start with for a season?
Just one. Right now, We last year we just had the one that I was actually driving for somebody a few races, and then the year before when I owned my own car, it was just the one, and it was just every wherever we decided to go. If we raced Thursday night at one track, that we put the setup on it for that, and then the next night we go and try to get close to the setup and for that track and change gears and kind of change tires. At one point in time, I think we ran 4 nights in a row for probably about 4 weeks straight, and that was at different tracks, and that was pretty intense.
Well, getting into this weekend's race, what we were doing here before you came on is we're trying to pick our ponies for this weekend's race. Now, Joey Logano has the pole with Harvick on the outside. First off, I'm loving the start by Logano. I've never really been a big fan of his, but to take Daytona and then turn around and get the pole for this weekend's race in Atlanta, that's pretty damn good. Now, my question to you is, if you had to pick 2 stud racers that one or the other is going to win this weekend in Atlanta, who are your horses going to be?
My horse is going to be Kevin Harvick as well as Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. Okay. Stewart needs a win. He needs a win. He needs to win bad.
Not only does he need to win, but I mean he's phenomenal at Atlanta, and obviously Kevin Harvick's history at Atlanta has been huge.
Right.
In both nationwide or Busch Series nationwide, not like Xfinity, but hell, I mean you look back at that was his first race after the Dale Earnhardt incident. That's where he won. So.
Right. Now, Harvick obviously races for Tony Stewart Haas Racing. Kind of rare. I mean, it was his first year, new team. Tony Stewart's not exactly a seasoned owner. Haas is. But how surprised were you that they took the championship last year?
Well, I was surprised, but at the same time, token, as a race fan and somebody that just as a race fan in general, you stand back and you go, you're really not surprised because Harvick is such an aggressive race car driver, and Tony will do anything he can to make his team win. He's going to give you the resources. He's no different than Michael Waltrip or even some of the other top tier owners. But Tony being a current race car driver, and then having the driver owner deal, that's huge because he can relate 100% of what Kevin's telling him, and so it was just really, really awesome to see Kevin get that for once, because now he's got a title, I believe, in all 3 series. Yeah, so that's huge.
That is huge. Now, who's your dark horse for this week? I'm talking about somebody that's not a prior champion, somebody that you really wouldn't expect to see in the winner's circle this year, but you can see him pulling it off. Who would it be?
Michael Annett.
All right. Okay.
And I see that because he's coming off a really a good run. He kept his nose clean throughout the Daytona race. Michael, he switched over to the new team. H. Scott, which they have a ton of Earnhardt Canassi and Chevy connections, and I believe some Hendrick stuff. Connection, I believe, somewhere along the line. There was with Chip Ganassi. So you can't get any better resources for him to go over to a team. And he came out of the box and he was consistent. He's finished I think 18th last week. So at Daytona, that's huge. And I think he's gonna have a good year this year. And I like to see him pull something out. Definitely some possibly a good top 2, maybe a win.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Being consistently top 10.
All right. So now one of the things that we like to debate about here is how good Danica Patrick actually is. So This week, first off, your thoughts of Danica Patrick skill-wise.
For one, I have to give her a lot of skill credit because she's there and I'm not. So money or not, it does take a lot to wheel them cars. You have to remember, it's not that matter if she's a woman or however tall she is, or, it's just the fact that she has won in Indy cars. She led the Indianapolis 500. So you can't take that away from her. You have to have skill to do that. And then you see the learning curve that she's getting now to where she's actually starting to come into her own. I was just asked this question the other day by a friend of mine, and we were kind of debating it. And I said, you look at her schedule, how she's came into her own. And if you go back into history, you kind of look at where Shauna Robinson was, or, Patty Molise. They started, coming into their own to really, really run solidly after about 2 or 3 years in the league. And, she's getting to that point where I say she's got talent. She's there. I'm not, but at the same time, she's doing what she has to do. And, not every week does she put herself in the right position, but when she does, she runs up front. I mean, look at the races she led last year. I mean, she led some laps last year, and, she raced her way in there. So it wasn't like, they pushed her over.
Now, this weekend in Atlanta, I'm a firm believer. I think that she drives better in the open tracks, mile and a half plus. I think she's a little bit better on the speedways than on like Martinsville and things like that, and maybe Dover. I just think when she gets crowded, that's where she definitely needs to work the most. But this weekend in Atlanta, plus or minus 20, over under, where are you at?
I'll take the over.
You think she's going to finish lower than 20?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the only person in the room that thinks she'll finish better than 20. Okay. We'll see.
I have to disagree. I think that, she's, she has the potential, but she's going to, bounce it off the fence maybe once or twice, or get herself caught up in somebody else's, stuff. And, Atlanta's fast, and, now it's even faster. I mean, with these new rules that, NASCAR says, hey, we're going to slow these cars down, and you're talking 194 mile an hour. That's 3.5 miles an hour faster than last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's going to happen quick, and I think, she's going to, unfortunately get tangled up. Hopefully, isn't it with Denny Hamlin again? But
yeah, who would have thought that would be the rival going into the season? Danica and Denny. All right, well, one starting in 20. I think she's starting like 25th or something. She finished 21st last week. And Denny's starting at the front of the pack, so hopefully we won't see any of that. Joel, as always, man, it's a pleasure having you on. We definitely need to try and do this if we can. I'd love to turn this into like a weekly segment to have you call in.
All for it.
So at least until your season starts up. So yeah, man. Then let's look at doing this again next week, and we'll call it the Willman series. And whatever we got to do, let's get you on. Love talking with you. We appreciate your support for the military, as always, and we know that you coming from a military-rich family. So definitely thank you for everything that you do and your family do to help support us. And we'll talk to you next week. How about that?
That sounds well. I greatly appreciate it, and likewise, Jeff. And I have to say, always it's a pleasure to be with you guys, and I'll do whatever I can to give back. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Outstanding, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. You have a good weekend, sir.
Yep, sounds good.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back with this big fight tonight, cat fight.
I'd like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans. The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you'll be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org, or call 928-284-2022.
Breaker 19. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training, They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final segment, one of the final segments. Big fight tonight, man, and I'm excited. I couldn't believe how excited I was yesterday just watching the weigh-in, because there was a lot of intensity, in that weigh-in. Let's start with the big fight. Let's get that out of the way. All right, it's Rousey against Kat.
Yep.
Okay. First off, I love the fact that when they were doing the weigh-ins for the entire card yesterday, people coming in like sweats and just she's coming in boots, jeans, leather jacket.
Yeah.
And she looked
hot.
like
oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Damn. She did make JD's Rocket Sports 10 hottest females, which it's a new year, so we're gonna have to come out and do the first half awards again for this year for the hottest female athletes.
Yeah.
So she'll be on it. I'm pretty sure she'll be in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, really? So, and she could go down after winning tonight. She could go down as probably the most dominating female ever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If she's not already.
Yeah, I mean, in all of martial arts, I would say.
Right, but the thing is Kat is also undefeated. So if she loses, then Kat could actually say, you know what, I'm the most dominating female. She's undefeated.
She could. She very well could. I mean, it would set up obviously a sequel
rematch,
fight.
Well, all right, so let's get your thoughts on that fight here real quick, and then we'll work backwards.
It's going to be good. I think it's actually going to be a really intense fight. Zingano has a lot of heart. She has a lot. Yeah, she is pretty cute too, and I'd give it to her.
She can kick my ass any day.
Oh yeah. But no. Zingano, she every single one of her fights, she starts off so slow. Like she can't find a rhythm. She'll get taken down.
But she doesn't mind getting taken down.
Right. But she can weather storms. She weathers submission moves, which but the armbar of Ronda Rousey is the best armbar in MMA right now.
In MMA, not just women.
Yeah, easily.
Just in MMA.
Yeah, she of her opponents that she has fought and she is submitted by armbar, every single one of them has dislocated their elbow from that armbar. So, but Zingano does have the heart not to tap to that. Which, if she doesn't, then we're in for a big fight.
I dislocated my shoulder without somebody pulling on it. That hurts like hell.
Yeah. Can you just imagine though your elbow? Your elbow having to bend that way and hyperextend. And I mean, it's a brutal looking submission too.
So is it pretty much a foregone conclusion that Zingano's gonna be putting the armbar tonight? I mean, because Zingano's a brawler.
Zingano is a brawler. I mean, she's not afraid to stand up and box with Rousey. She's fine fighting on the ground. She's just got to make sure that at the beginning part that she doesn't find herself in a precarious situation, and because Rousey she's relentless. Rousey's a fast starter, so this is why I think it's not a good matchup for Kat. Because Rousey and all but one of her wins has finished them in the first round. I mean, we're looking. I mean, the one fight that she won and went to round 3, and she ended up barely winning. So I mean, that's where we're kind of where things.
Two things that I liked about the weigh-in yesterday. 3 things. First off, they're both hot.
Yeah.
Next, number 2. Is when Zingano, before they did the pose for the pictures, Zingano was asked about the expectations for tonight, and all she said was, "Watch this."
Yeah,
and that was it. I thought that was pretty cool. And then usually Rousey is the intimidator during the pose. Yeah. That she's the one that kind of goes into the defender, but Kat stepped right into it.
Yeah. Which is that's impressive. I mean, Rousey doesn't, and Rousey, by her own admission, has been saying that this is going to be her toughest fight because Zingano has probably the most power in that division. She's probably more powerful than Rousey. So I mean, Rousey is going to be tested. She really is. I think. I mean, if Zingano can get Rousey up against the cage and start kneeing her like she has done many of her opponents, her knees are like knives in there where they can drop their opponent, then Rousey is in trouble, and I can certainly see that happening too in this fight too. So I mean, it's
right. So on the main card, okay. So who are you taking tonight?
I can't go against Rousey. I can't. I really think it's going to be a submission in the first round.
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow, that quick because of how Zingano starts off slow?
Yeah, I mean, it's just she'll always say, that she has it fixed before every one of her fights. She has a fix. She's got this. She's watched tape and everything, but when she gets in there, she just doesn't. Her last fight, for example, she was facing at the time the 9th ranked bantamweight in the women's division. Got just taken down and just absolutely hammered, and I thought the fight was going to end because I mean the chick that she was fighting, Amanda Nunes, was just dropping bombs on her. I mean, to the point where like Zingano, I mean, her face was all bloodied up and everything, but she weathered that storm, and I mean that's where her heart comes into play. But Rousey's in the lead they're on right now in this fight.
Also on the co-main event, I guess, Pennington and Holm.
Yeah,
for the ladies, Holm is a huge favorite.
Yeah, Holly Holm is she's making her octagon debut. She's making her MMA. Or
why is she such a favorite just now coming in?
Because she's probably the best women's boxer in the world, and so she's making the transitioning to MMA. So she obviously she's a striker.
Yeah,
she has excellent stand up. Raquel Pennington is mostly like she's more of has a wrestling background, but the thing with Pennington is that she doesn't use it very much. She doesn't have the dominating takedowns that most wrestlers do. She likes to get into brawls. She likes to get into fisticuffs and start throwing haymakers at her opponents. And against Holly Holm, you don't want to do that. You want to take her down, and you want to grind her out. And
so is Holmes victorious?
Yeah, Holmes is definitely victorious.
Okay, all right. Next match, Ellenberger and Koscheck.
God, this fight is so I don't know. Both fighters aren't good.
It's pretty even.
It is pretty even. I mean, even the betting odds are really even here. Both fighters, I've lost 3 fights in a row. I'm leaning toward Jake Ellenberger in this fight just because Josh Koscheck hasn't fought in a year and a half.
Right.
So the ring rust, and then on top of that, losing 3 fights in a row, I think Ellenberger is going to get it. Also, Koscheck, he's been in the UFC for 10 years now, and when you're in for that long, even in the MMA period, your chin just can't hold up anymore. And Ellenberger has the power to knock him out, and I think that's what we'll see. I think we'll see a knockout in that fight.
Okay. Next match, Jobin and Walsh.
Yeah, this one it's not the most technical fight you're going to see. Both of them are a little bit. Neither of them are ranked in the welterweight division,
right?
But Joban probably has a little bit more finesse to him than Richard Walsh. I'm leaning toward Joban on this just because I think he has just a few more weapons than Walsh. Walsh. I think he's a wrestler, and so that's pretty much what he's going to be.
Okay,
I think he's going to be used for.
All right, so you got Joban on this one.
Yep.
Ferguson and is it Tabo?
Gleison Tebow.
Tebow.
This fight's probably the most shakiest fight of the night, I think, as far as who you think is going to win.
It's the first fight on the main card.
Yeah, it is the first fight. This. Tony Ferguson is mostly a striker. He has a 61% knockout rate, which is pretty good in the lightweight division. And Tebow is an 8%, but
50 fights.
Yeah, 50 fights,
Jesus.
40 and 10. And talk about your chin not holding up there.
Right.
Tebow's a wrestler. And he'll take him down and he'll grind you out and he'll end up submitting you in the perfect wins here. But the thing with Tony Ferguson is that he recently fought Danny Castillo and at UFC 177, who is a wrestler that is on par with Gleison Tebow, and he won. And I just think he's younger. He's riding a 4-fight winning streak right now, and I just think he's just too hot right now for Tebow to beat him. So I'm going to go Ferguson on this.
All right. How much attention do you really pay to the prelims?
I like watching the prelims. I do. I think because I think sometimes you'll see fight of the night on the prelim card.
You do have a ranked top 15 ranked. You go, I believe he's 13th. Mark Munoz.
Yeah.
The Filipino against Ron Carnero.
Yeah. This one, Mark Munoz was one of the ones that failed to make weight, but he was given an hour to drop the extra pound, and he did. But that does a toll on your body when you're at that point. So, I mean,
now can they just gain it right back after the weigh-in?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of players, what they'll do is that a lot of fighters, they'll put on an extra, 3, 4, 5 pounds, however much that they can, in order to get themselves more of an advantage and everything.
Right.
Which is another topic at another time, whether we want to have them weigh in before the fight or the day of. But I think that the toll on Munoz, because Munoz, he didn't really look good at the weigh-in. I mean, he looked like he was pale and he was kind of sickly, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know much about this Ron Carnero guy. Besides the fact that he's a wrestler and submission machine. But with that's kind of why I'm leaning toward Carnero, because he could probably easily get Munoz to the ground if Munoz just looks the way that he did at the weigh-in. But if it's standing up, it's Munoz all the way.
Is it that much of a difference for a pound?
Yeah. I mean, well, you're also working that day of cutting the weight, sitting in the sauna. I mean, it looks like garbage bags, as clothes in the sauna, trying to sweat all of it out. And then you have to go weigh in, still don't make it, then have to go back into the sauna and maybe like ride a stationary bike inside the sauna in order for you to drop that pound. So, it could really just, crazy. Your body just, sometimes their bodies just say, nope, I'm not going to lose anything. And you have to will itself.
All right. So
if this one's kind of coming at a caveat, if the fight stands up or if Munoz looks remotely healthy, he's going to win this fight.
Okay.
If it's going to the ground, if Munoz looks tired, looks sluggish like he did at the weigh-in, then Carnero is going to walk all over him, maybe in a submission.
Salazar against Yamamoto.
I think these guys, they're Yamamoto is making his octagon debut coming from Japan, and Salazar has had one fight in the UFC. I'm going to go with Yamamoto just because of his experience in Japan. I know the Japan MMA is not as advanced as it is in the isn't as advanced as
like Brazil.
Brazil and America. American MMA is by far probably the best in the world right now. Just based off of, I mean, you had like last weekend Frank Mir knocking out and Bigfoot Silva. I mean, a lot of Americans they're winning on these cards. TJ Dillashaw beating Henan Barao. You know, I mean, we got a lot of examples like that.
All right.
So I mean, Salazar is also fighting out of Tucson though too. So there's a good camp down there. But I'm just going to lean toward the more experience on that.
Diego Lima against the Dirty Bird, Tim Means.
I like Diego Lima. I've watched him ever since he was on the Ultimate Fighter. The dude has a killer instinct. I mean, if he sees one hole in the game, he's going to pick it up and he's going to just expose it in 10 seconds and finish it. He's a striker, but then he's also a wrestler who's got outstanding submission skills. So I think Diego Lima is actually on the rise in the UFC. I mean, maybe not like on the Mediaphoric or however that word is rise, but he's going to be up and coming here, and I think probably next year we're going to start seeing.
So you're taking Lima in this fight?
I am taking Lima.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Last one. Well, no, there's still a couple more. We've got Derek Lewis against Potts. A couple big fellas on this one.
Heavyweights. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis. I forgot his nickname, you know.
Right.
But
against Fangs
Potts. Both guys are powerful. This one's going to end in a knockout either way. Derek Lewis has come with so much hype behind him. In his first fight in about 2 years in the UFC, he got knocked out by Matt Mitrione. But Mitrione is just an animal in the heavyweight division. Potts, he's got a ton of power too. I saw a fight. His last fight, he was on top of some dude, and just a little punch into the jab, like not even like a full arm punch, just a small like half punch, knocked the guy flat out. I mean, he was just done for. So these fists are going to be swinging here to kick off the prelims, and I think Derek Lewis is going to win. I'm going to pick him.
Okay, and then the last two. On the very early prelim, which I believe they usually do like on the internet.
Yeah, Fight Pass.
Kraus against Lazaro.
I'm going James Krause on this. Just for me, it's just a little bit more of the experience of it. He's fought in the UFC before. Lazaro hasn't. So maybe those little octagon debut butterflies would be play an effect to it.
So you're taking the experience.
Yep, I'm taking Krause.
And then the last one, Fulton against Torres.
Both guys are making their UFC debut. Torres is 2-1 in his MMA career, with both wins coming by knockout. Fulton is 9-4 in his MMA career, but he's definitely more of a wrestler. I'm going to go Fulton on this, just looking at the numbers here, just because he's a wrestler, obviously, because he has 56% submission rates, or he's a jiu-jitsu guy. And Torres only has 3 fights, and I don't think in 3 fights you can.
But he's won 2 by knockout.
Yeah, he has won 2 by knockout. So I mean, it only takes 1. You know,
right?
He has a puncher's chance all the time.
Right.
But with I mean, it's only 2 wins. You don't know the opponent either. You know, so I'm going to take Fulton just because I think he has just more experience, and he can would be able to take Torres down. I think it's going to be a learning experience for Torres as far as with the wrestling and jiu-jitsu styles.
Outstanding, man. So it should be good. Hey, Aaron, who you got tonight between Rousey and Kat?
Rousey.
Yeah, Rousey. Nobody's picking up the upset.
No. Until she loses, why would you?
I want to see what the odds are so I can.
Last I saw.
What were the odds on that one?
Rousey minus 800 and Zingano plus 575.
Put some money on that one. Just a little, maybe like a little $50 one. I need to give my boy in Vegas a call.
Yeah.
Say put 50 down on Zingano for me.
Plus 575. I'm sure you can make 100 on that.
Oh
yeah. $500. At the very beginning of the week, it was Rousey minus 1200. Which,
so what do you think? Why do you think it jumped or dropped?
It almost always drops after the weigh-ins for whatever reason.
I think Zingano. Yeah. I mean, this if Rousey doesn't lose this one, she's not going to lose.
Right.
Plain
I
and
agree.
simple.
I agree. I mean, even Dana White said if she loses this, I don't know what to do with her. He said, she may have to fight men. But Holly Holm has been earmarked for a title shot ever since the hype started building up around her. So I think if she wins, she may get a shot, or some chick's been calling her out. Betch Kohea has been calling her out ever since.
Whoa, watch your mouth.
Betch?
Some Betch.
I guess it's like BETHE or something like that.
Yeah.
But UFC's also announced some really stacked cards here coming up in the next few pay-per-views. 186, 180. This is 184. 185 is Dos Anjos versus Anthony Pettis fight. But starting with 186 is when you actually start to have these cards that are you're going to see 2 title fights on one card. And it's starting off with Dillashaw versus Burrell Part 2. At 186 in April, and then at 187, this is going to be the fight card to watch of the year. You have John Jones versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. Yeah,
I'm picking Jones though.
With the undercard being Chris Weidman versus Vitor Belfort.
Wow.
Donald Cerrone's fighting on this card versus Nurmagomedov to the fight. Yeah, Cowboy's my boy. Travis Brown and Andre Arlovsky heavyweights, and then 2.
When's Henderson fighting again?
They haven't announced it yet.
I'm surprised he hasn't already signed up for another fight.
I know. He called out Rory McDonald. Well, he didn't really call it out because McDonald was faced to fight Hector Lombard, who then got popped for steroids and suspended for a while. And he's like, well, hey, after he beat Thatch, which I'm glad I changed my mind.
Jumped up a weight class.
He said, well, hey,
should he stay at that weight class or should he drop?
I think he should drop. I do. I mean, he could go up there into welterweight and he could definitely hang like we saw. But
I think his speed is his advantage.
His speed,
weight.
Absolutely. And the takedown that he landed on Thatch was beautiful. Was awesome. to basically wear him out and win the fight in the 4th round.
Yeah.
But I
said, you know what? We're going to have him on this show.
I would love that.
I am going to get him on this show.
I would love that.
He's a hometown boy.
Yeah.
We need to have him either in studio or on the phone. I don't care which one.
Yeah.
Starting today, my mission is to have him on the show before the end of the year.
I like watching him fight. He seems like a really stand-up dude. He does a lot of things around the community. I mean, I do like watching Henderson, the type of person that he is and everything. But he's I think he's probably going to stay at lightweight just because I think he has a better chance at title competition in that. But I mean, he could actually be moving up to welterweights here, here and then maybe all of a sudden decide, I think I could do this. But he was about to call out Rory McDonald before Dana White said, no, Rory McDonald has a title shot. So that fight's going to be booked here this summer.
Outstanding. All right, man. Well, Joel, thank you so much for that. Our UFC informer, Joel Chaney, Cardinals fan, whatever. Anyway, Aaron, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll close it out.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey, everyone. It's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 864-0552. Or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaker, 1-9. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. If you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
Why they drowned out Sheamus on that one, man? They took out his the guitar and stuff, man, on that. Anyway,
I think it was live.
So stuff to watch for this week. The race in Atlanta, obviously. I'm going to keep an eye on that. The match tonight is going to be exciting. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to catch you at the casino while I'm making my millions of dollars. And but Joel, what are you looking forward to this week?
Obviously, I mean the UFC fight. Looking forward to watching it. It's a brilliant, well, not a brilliant, but it's a breakthrough night for the women's MMA altogether. And not to mention UFC as well too. Rousey headlining another fight. And then I'm also going to be spring training starts next week. The games do,
right?
You know, I mean, we're looking forward to that. Interesting to see what's going to happen with this Josh Hamilton thing, which is a sad story. Relapsed on cocaine for about the fourth time already in his life, and figure out what he's going to do from here. If he's going to take a year off, if he's going to retire. There's a lot of rumors out there, so curious to see if he's going to be suspended and for how long on that, and hopefully he can get better.
I'd rather have somebody take steroids than get on that. Man.
Yeah,
that's
me
just
too.
Ridiculous.
Poor guy. Kind of, you feel bad for him. Your heart goes out to him.
He never should have left Texas.
I agree. I think he had a lot more accountability partners there.
Well, and Los Angeles is full of horrible people and drugs.
Yeah.
And we just lost our
more
West
so than
Coast
Dallas.
fan.
Yeah.
Jeez.
If you haven't noticed, I bag on every city.
You can't bag on Boston, man. Boston's too awesome. We're Boston strong.
Oh, I can bag on Boston.
And we're wicked smart.
Yeah.
So
gross.
You can
teabag.
You could tunnel your way to work if you want.
Hey, whatever. Whatever. Don't make fun of our tunnels. All right. So other than that, man, it was a good show.
Hey, I'm watching the Bruins and the Coyotes at 3:30 tonight to this afternoon.
Outstanding. Bruins going to win.
They probably will by 5.
All right. So other than that, man, it was a good show. Thanks for coming in. We'll be back on Tuesday. Joel, you got your playoffs. Yeah. Brent's out there at watching his lady run a marathon. other than that, man, everything's good to go. And Tuesday night we'll be back 7:30 to 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So thanks for listening in. We'll catch you later on the Vets on Media Network.